Greetings, yoga friends. My name is Rebecca, and welcome to this yoga flow to open your heart. Maybe current events have you feeling a little stressed, or perhaps you're feeling downhearted for some reason. Maybe you've just been sitting in front of a computer all day with your shoulders rounded forward, and you'd like to be able to roll those shoulders back and shine your light. Either way, this practice is meant to help you be energized and open-hearted. If you'd like to use some props today, you might like to grab a couple of blocks, maybe a strap. You'll also get to meet my little dog Poppy today, so let's roll out our mats and do some yoga. We'll start our practice today in standing. So come into a nice wide base, your feet planted directly underneath your hips, your toes nice and wide. And as you have your toes wide, connect them with the mat here with the base of the toe where it meets the foot, pressing down into the mat. Lifting the arches, engaging all the muscles as we come up, zipping up those abs and rolling the shoulders onto the back. Collarbones spread nice and open wide. And then tuck the chin slightly, enjoying that feeling of the chest being wide and broad, pulling the shoulders onto the back and beginning to sink into the breath. A slight bend in the knees here, beginning to inhale all the way down into the bottom of the belly, the bottom of the lungs, and then exhale slowly, perhaps through the nose or maybe through an open mouth. And as you're exhaling, just let go of any tension you may be carrying in the shoulders. Let them drop down away from the ears. Now we'll begin a little movement with the breath, this time exhaling through the nose, inhaling the shoulders up to the ears, exhaling them down the back. Inhale the shoulders up to the ears, exhale down the back. Once more here, nice deep breath, exhaling down the back. And then beginning just one shoulder movement here, really moving that shoulder forward, up to the ear and back. Moving that entire side of the body with the shoulder. And then switching to the other side, inhaling the shoulder up and back. Really moving slowly and mindfully here with the breath, keeping that little micro bend in the knees. And then bringing that to stillness. Now we'll inhale the arms up overhead, allowing the palms to meet overhead and exhaling the hands down through the face, coming all the way down. Inscribing the shape of a sun here as we come through our sun breaths. And take 2 more breaths here on your own. Making that yoga breath, that ujjayi breath that you can hear in the back of your throat. And on our next inhale or exhale, we're bringing the hands to heart center, allowing the chin to fold down to the chest, sliding the shoulders down the back, and feeling that nice stretch down the back of the neck. Pressing the heels of the thumbs into the sternum here, and just taking a moment to tune in to the beating of the heart. Opening the shoulders wide, shining the heart forward, and really pressing the heart in to the thumbs. For just a moment, come to silence and see if you can hear the beating of your own heart. And then we'll allow that to release. We'll bring the hands to the hips here, right above the hip bone. And bending into the knees here, we're just going to begin some nice hip circles here. So this may feel a little goofy or awkward, but that's the joy of a home practice. Really try to get into this here, moving the hips forward as far as it's comfortable, and then really shooting those hips back. If you've been sitting in a chair all day, this may feel really good in the side body and in the lower back. And continuing to sync up your breath with the movement here, perhaps shifting to go to the other side. Keeping that little bend in the knees. And then after your next breath, bring that to stillness. And then we'll prepare to step up to the top of our mats. So coming up to the top of our mats now, finding our foundation here, we'll inhale our arms up overhead and keeping the knees slightly bent, we'll exhale coming into our first forward fold. Letting the crown of the head relax down toward the mat here. Maybe walking the fingertips from one side to the other, or perhaps coming to ragdoll for just a moment. Just finding something that feels good for your body here. And then we'll bring that back to stillness in the middle. And from this forward fold, we're going to step back into a lunge. If you'd like to use a couple of blocks for your lunge today, you can place those on either side of your feet. And then we'll take a nice big step back with the left leg. Exhaling as we look forward, grounding back through that left heel. Heart is shining forward here, gaze looking straight ahead if you can. And if this is not available to you, just coming into this shape as best you can. Stepping the back foot back to the front. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhaling up halfway, we'll plant the hands again, this time stepping back with the right foot, finding our supported lunge on this side, shining the heart forward. And then inhaling that back foot back to the front. We'll inhale the arms up overhead and let the hands come to heart center. And you can take your blocks or props now if you have some and move them back out of the way, maybe to the back of your mat. So starting with some sun salutations today, finding that foundation again, rolling the shoulders onto the back, broadening through the collarbones, inhaling the arms up overhead, exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, exhale to surrender. Stepping back with the left leg, we'll exhale, shining the heart forward. Planting both hands, stepping the right foot back, coming into plank or half plank, and then rolling onto the toes if that's available to you, pulling the elbows in, lowering down, chaturanga. Tops of the feet come to the mat, inhale up, baby cobra, pulling back against the hands. Exhale, release. Inhale to press up through plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to bring the left foot forward. Exhale, shining the heart forward. Back foot comes to meet the front. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling all the way to stand. Hands come to meet overhead. And then exhale, broadening through the collarbones, coming into goddess pose here, allowing the chest to open. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Hands come down through heart center, all the way back down, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to release back into the fold, stepping back with the right leg. Exhale, shining the heart forward. Planting both hands, stepping back, coming into your version of plank, chaturanga, pulling those elbows in. Tops of the feet come to the floor, pulling back on the hands, using the back muscles to rise up from the mat. Exhale to release. Pressing up through plank or half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Bring that leg forward. Exhale, shining the heart forward. Bringing the back leg to meet the front. Surrendering back into that forward fold. And then inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands meet overhead and then part. Coming into goddess pose. Opening the chest. Maybe shifting the gaze up slightly. Inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Pause here and receive. Inhaling the arms up overhead now. We'll exhale, coming back to forward fold. Stepping back, both feet coming into downward facing dog. Pedaling out a little with the dog here. And really pressing out of the mat here, pressing the arms away from the shoulder girdle, pressing the weight of the body back towards the heels. And now stepping those big toes together. We'll inhale the left leg up. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Shifting left knee to right elbow. Shifting left knee to center, really curving the back here. And stepping forward, left lunge. Planting that back foot, we'll inhale the arms up here. Exhale as we come into goddess arms. Really feeling that chest open. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale as we allow the hands to rain back down to frame the left foot. Stepping forward slightly with the right foot, planting the heel. Inhaling the arms up overhead, coming into warrior one. As we're exhaling, we'll allow those fingertips to swim around behind, interlacing at the small of the back, pressing down and away. And taking a nice deep breath here. And then as we're exhaling, if you like, lowering forward, pressing up and out of the shoulders here. The temptation is to let the shoulders drop back down towards the ears and keeping them pressing away from the ears. Keeps our shoulders in good shape. Allowing the fingers to release here. We'll sweep the arms back up overhead, coming back into our warrior one. Exhaling, painting that invisible wall with our hands, bringing the hands back down around this left foot. And we'll allow the left foot to walk out to the outside of the mat here, dropping down to the right knee here. And you can stay high, or if you like, you can always grab a block or just allow your forearms to come down to the floor. Left toes can be pointed out slightly here. You can even move the left knee out to the side a little to make extra space for yourself. And then inhaling up from this pose, we'll plant the right hand to the mat, bending into the left knee and turning to grasp or reach for the toes in the back. And you can keep that block underneath your knee here. You can even use a strap around the right foot, coming into a thigh stretch here, allowing that left shoulder to open up and back. And if you can't reach the foot here, that's completely fine. Just bringing the heel as close to the body as you can, reaching back with the fingertips. And then we'll allow that to release with control, bringing the left hand back around, shifting the block out of the way if you've chosen to use that, rolling back up on the toes on the right foot, stepping the left foot back, and then rolling to the right, coming into a side plank, or if you like, bringing that left foot around in front, coming into a supported side plank. Finding a focal point here. Welcoming that little tremble as a sign that you are getting stronger. 2 more breaths. I'm going to allow that upper arm to swim back around, coming back into plank and coming through your vinyasa. Coming back to downward facing dog. If you did use a block on your last round, you might want to move that to the other side here while you can. And then coming to downward dog, or perhaps child's pose. 3 deep breaths. And now bringing the big toes to touch. We'll inhale that right leg up high. Exhaling, right knee to same elbow. Switching right knee to opposite elbow. Right knee comes to center and stepping the right knee all the way through. Exhaling, we'll look forward, shining the chest forward. And then bringing that left foot a couple of footprints forward, pressing the left heel into the mat. Inhaling the arms up overhead, coming into a warrior one. Exhaling, we'll swim those fingers back around behind, interlacing them in the way that feels odd, pressing down and away. And you can choose to stay here, or if you like, as you're exhaling, come forward, allowing the hands to rise, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. And then allowing those fingers to release. We'll bring them down to the mat, walking that back foot out a couple of footprints, bringing both hands to the inside of the right leg as we walk the right foot to the outside of the mat. Dropping the left knee to the mat. You can get your block here if you like. And if you like to stay up high here, that's completely fine. Or bringing yourself down to your elbows on your block or on the mat. And on our next inhale, we'll come back up. You can move that block out of the way or choose to keep it in its place. We'll plant the left hand, bending the knee, reaching back for the toes here, opening through that shoulder. Nice deep breaths. Find something to focus on. You got this. And then slowly with control, we'll allow that foot to drop. Maybe moving our props out of the way, planting both hands. We'll take that right leg back, opening up to the left, coming into your plank on the left side here, or perhaps you'd like to support that plank by bringing the right leg around in front. Finding your focal point. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. And then allowing that upper arm to swim back around. We'll come back into our plank and come through our vinyasa. We'll allow our knees to find the mat here, maybe keeping them together, maybe taking them wide, shifting back into child's pose. Taking a moment here to rest, maybe to feel the lower back and the skin of the back stretch and expand, or perhaps to feel an opening through the hips if your knees are wide. And then using our breath to help us rise from this position, pulling the belly button in towards the spine, we'll come down to rest on the belly. So taking the forehead to the mat here, we'll extend the hands along the sides of the body. Palms are facing up. And now we'll come into a bow pose. If you already have a bow pose as part of your practice, perhaps you can reach back and grasp both ankles. If not, you can take one hand in front of the forehead, reaching back to grasp the other ankle and coming into a half bow. If you'd like to take full bow here and you are grasping both ankles, as you inhale, you can kick the feet into the hands, allowing the chest to rise from the floor. Taking our last breath, whichever variation you've chosen, we'll slowly release with control. And then either prepare to come into bow for a second time or switching to the other side, grasping the other ankle, or inhaling up to your bow pose. 3 breaths. And then allowing that leg to release with control. We'll bring the hands close to the chest here, pressing up to tabletop briefly, and then moving the feet to one side, coming back into a Dandasana staff pose at the back of the mat. So So finding your way here, maybe pressing your palms or your fists into the mat, opening the shoulders. We'll come down to rest on the back, pulling the knees into the chest here, maybe rolling back and forth just a little on the lower back. And then taking the soles of the feet to the floor here. If you have a shoulder stand and plow as part of your practice, you're welcome to take that here. Otherwise, we're going to, if you have a block, take that block. We're going to shift the hips up towards the ceiling as we inhale, and then bring those hips down to rest on the block. Now the block should go right on that bony part of the lower back, right where it begins to meet the tail. So you're kind of half on the tailbone and half on the very lower part of the back here. And so here, if you have a shoulder stand, you can not use the support block, but simply bring yourself to bridge pose and begin working your hands into your lower back, coming into your shoulder stand. If you do not have this plow pose, we'll bring the knees into the chest here and then extend the feet up overhead, coming into waterfall or legs up the wall pose. Taking a few breaths here. We spend the whole day sitting up with our shoulders rounded forward, our hearts closed, and sitting or standing upright. So just taking this moment to snuggle the shoulders under the back if you like, and just experience the blood running the other way through the body. And you can choose to stay right here, or if you'd like to play a little with plow pose here, you can roll the legs forward to wherever it's comfortable here, being very gentle and careful with the small neck bones. If you do have your toes far up over your head here, extending that chin towards the ceiling just a bit to make room for yourself to breathe and to keep that cervical spine protected. And remembering you can always just stay in your waterfall pose. It's completely up to you what you do here. And if you have found yourself in this shape, now bending the knees, allowing them to come close to the ears as you roll back slowly and with control. Perhaps coming back to your shoulder stand, perhaps coming back to waterfall. And then allowing the knees to come into the chest. We'll roll back down from this position, pressing the hips up if you have taken a block underneath the back, shifting the back down to the mat. And we'll take the feet wide here, as wide as the mat. Inhaling, and as we're exhaling, just allowing both knees to fall over to the right side. If you like, you can take the arms out to a T shape, or you can bring them back into goddess pose here, and then take the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhaling the knees back to neutral. Maybe shifting the hips slightly over to the right as we let the knees fall over to the left, taking the gaze over the right shoulder. Inhaling the knees back to neutral. We'll bring the knees into the chest, hugging the knees, rolling out through the lower back. And then reaching through the knees here. You can grab the toes or the outsides of the feet, allowing the soles of the feet to shift up towards the ceiling, coming into your happy baby. If you found a little movement here in your happy baby, you might want to bring that to stillness. And then when you're ready, you can extend your legs out long, coming into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Really snuggling your shoulders underneath your back this time. Allowing the body to become heavy and to experience the benefits of your practice. And here with the shoulders under the back, you can feel the collarbones spread open wide. And imagine that you can begin to breathe in and out from the space of your heart. Feeling the vast space that your heart occupies. And if you've been feeling heavy-hearted lately or sad, maybe just allowing yourself to offer some nurturance and care to that space of your heart. And perhaps you've been feeling angry or tense. If so, just imagining the heart relaxing and opening. Heart like the sun, shining your light forward. Open as the clear blue sky. Heart like the sun, shining your light forward. Open as the clear blue sky. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And begin to come back to this moment. Inhaling your arms up overhead. Stretching out like the very first stretch of your day. And allow yourself to roll to one side, cradling your head on your arm. And when you're ready, press yourself back up to a seated position, bringing your hands to heart center, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. May this practice have brought some joy to your heart, and may your yoga follow you off the mat.